Hello, everyone. Welcome in or welcome back to Rainforest Oracle. It's always awesome to have you here. A big thank you and shout out to those who are supporting the channel with their subscribes, comments, and likes, as well as those booking private readings, sending in donations, and purchasing my Oracle decks. Your support is so greatly appreciated. If we haven't met yet, hello, my name is Amanda, and this is a general pick-a-card reading for the collective. Since it is a general reading, note that it may not resonate fully or at all with everyone, so please take whatever resonates and leave the rest for someone else. These readings are also timeless, so whenever you come across it, there will be something here to help empower you and align you to your highest good. If you are interested in a private reading, spots are limited each month. To book, the link is in the description box below. And all of those who book private readings will receive a free downloadable worksheet that they can use to further enhance their tarot reading experience. So in today's reading, we're continuing the theme of February, which is connection and love. And we are looking at the realm of self-love and how we can do a little better in loving ourselves and what might be blocking us from doing so. Before you choose your pile today, feel free to grab a beverage of choice, and for the journalers in the room, a pen and paper to take notes on the messages offered today. So for pile number 1, we have Tarot at the End of the Rainbow with the Desert Rose Quartz. For pile 2, we have Alice the Wonderland Tarot with Orange Calcite. And for pile number 3, we have the Silver Witchcraft Tarot with the Blue Calcite. When you are ready, use your intuition to choose the pile that is calling to you the most, and then head down into the description box below to find the timestamp for your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, my pile ones. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Desert Rose Quartz with the Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. I believe that's what it's called. Or is it? Yeah, Tarot at the End of the Rainbow. I will confirm in the description box below if you are curious. So we're going to pull an energy for you and kind of where you're at right now. And then we're going to look at how you see yourself, what you need to acknowledge or celebrate, what is blocking you from loving yourself a little more, and any final messages as well as an oracle card. So the energy surrounding you is the Five of Wands, and it's in reverse. So this is a very challenging energy. You might feel like you're up against something here, you against the world, you against competition, and you might be either avoiding that confrontation or that conflict, or you are coming out of it or have a desire to move away from it. It's not a very nice feeling because it is about kind of fighting for those things that you love, fighting for what you want, and doing so very passionately. So it might be, something worthwhile, but definitely not something that you want to stay in long term. There's also a feeling of defensiveness or protectiveness here. So that could be an energy that you embody. Not a bad thing. No judgment here. You could also feel like an outsider as well, and you want to get away from that energy. You want to find your place in the world. You want to carve, a path that feels authentic, and you want to feel accepted in the process. So let's see, how do you see yourself? Four of Cups. I have a feeling this is telling me that you feel like you disappoint others, that you feel like you're not enough, you feel like you could do so much more, and you feel like no matter how much effort you put into something, it just feels like it's disappointing people, or it's not enough. You feel like you need to do more. You may even feel small in the process, so no matter how much effort you put in, you might feel, like you're acting small. This gives me the feeling that You don't also know how to fill your own cup up and how to really celebrate yourself, which can possibly block opportunities for you. There could be things in your life that make you feel unfulfilled or satisfied. There is a sense of maybe boredom or apathy as well. So you could be somebody who wants to do a lot of things or wants to start a lot of things and has a genuine passion for everything or for a lot of things, but gets bored relatively easy and wants to move on to something else before they can kind of get it off the ground. Or just like a long-term, or maybe you've invested in things that have disappointed you in the past as well. So that could be something there for somebody as well. So let's look at what you need to acknowledge. What you need to acknowledge for pile 1, please, Spirit. What does pile 1 need to acknowledge? Does pile 1 need to acknowledge, Spirit? Interesting. Thank you. 9 of Wands. I think you have to acknowledge not only the hard work that you put into the things that you go after and that you genuinely have your heart into, but also this ability to, there's this feeling of perseverance and resilience that you have, and you're not acknowledging that. And you're not acknowledging how much work you've put into maybe a project or your career or your family, something that you feel really passionate about. I feel like you've put your whole heart into, even though there's this feeling like you are disappointing others and you feel like it's not enough. There is this feeling of you, again, I still get that not enough feeling with this 9 of Wands because it is in the reversal position. And I think you just need to acknowledge how much work you've put into something, how much success you've had in your past, how much you've really fought for the things that you want and you have in your life. And again, I get this protectiveness with these two are in very similar stances. Sorry, here we go. So they've got this kind of protective barrier up. And I almost wonder if you are very guarded. So that could be a great thing, and something that you also need to acknowledge is that you might be guarded to a fault, to where you aren't really letting things into its fullest potential, or you aren't allowing things to grow to its fullest potential because you are guarded and you are blocking that success or that fulfillment out of fear, possibly out of previous experiences. That might not necessarily be true, so please take that as it resonates. If it does not resonate, then I would simply say that you need to acknowledge your hard work, all of the things that you've put into the things that you love in life. And even though you've seen failures, you've seen disappointments, you feel maybe like you've failed or you've disappointed or you're bored or you've lost kind of passion for a project that you started, so you're feeling bad and guilty and shameful about that. I really feel like you have to embrace that as part of the process and not necessarily a failure. That is a learned opportunity. That is something that is getting you to that next thing. So don't see any failure as a failure. See it as a learning experience and a stepping stone to the next thing. So what is blocking you from loving yourself or caring for yourself? And how can you do that? Thank you. Oh boy. Okay. So this is really heavy energy here. We've got the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords is that worry, that doubt, that anxiety that crops up within us when maybe we feel like we've not only just disappointed others, but disappointed ourselves. And so we're really hard on ourselves. We get into bad thinking patterns where we speak to ourselves in a really unkind way. Do better, be nicer. And the list goes on. I've been in this energy myself. So I think what is blocking you is how you think about yourself in context to the things that you are trying to achieve in your life, whether it's family, business, friendships, career, money. There's a sense of you being really hard on yourself here, and to a point where you're constantly worrying about it. You're constantly um, being really hard on yourself, and you're constantly telling yourself, do better, be better, do more, whatever those thoughts and feelings come in. There's a very critical way of looking at yourself and thinking about things, and that is what's kind of blocking you from loving yourself and from really offering yourself that care, is that you feel like you should be more, do more. And when we're in that space, we can't really give ourselves any grace, any compassion, any care, because we're constantly pushing ourselves, and constantly pushing ourselves, most likely at inopportune times when we're not feeling our best, or when we don't have all of the answers to move forward or take action. So yeah, I just feel like this is a very heavy energy to carry around. And I don't think it's helpful for you to be unkind to yourself, to guilt yourself, to shame yourself, to judge yourself. And to release that, it's not an easy thing, because we have to look at why we're doing that to ourselves. And possibly is it our voice? Is it our own voice that is saying this? Or is it somebody else's influence, somebody else's voice that is saying this? So it can get really deep, and it can get really gnarly when we start looking into those ways of thinking, ways of being, ways of doing. And when we get into those moments those trigger moments where it's like you have this feeling crops up. Maybe it's anxiety or worry, or maybe it's this feeling to push forward in spite of circumstances, or to kind of put more on your plate. And it's kind of really tough to unravel that in the moment, because those things have been triggered. But these are opportunities for us to really lean into those and ask them what they have to say to us. Why are these things coming up in this moment? And when have I felt like that in my past? And how can I offer a little care and compassion to this? Maybe it's a younger you, your child self, that needs a little bit of love and a little bit of a pick-me-up, to say, you know what? It's okay for you to trip a little. It's okay for you to have a day or a week where you're not as productive. It's okay for you to disappoint people, whatever the case may be. But that is a huge blockage for you, and I really feel like it's getting you wrapped up in your head too much and overthinking to the point where it's become a little toxic. So, final message: how can you move forward with loving yourself a little more? How can you love yourself a little more? One card, Spirit. Okay, we have another Wands energy, 3 of Wands, and it's in reverse. I think this is a card, not usually when the 3 of Wands is in the upright position. This is about looking outward and having trust and faith that our intentional actions will eventually draw in the things that we need in our life. It's that manifestation energy, and us showing up to that every day. This feels like a very internalized energy, instead of it being outwardly in this divine masculine kind of dynamic energy. This is kind of a pulling back for a bit and being in this divine feminine energy, where instead of us nurturing things for the external world, we are looking internally to see where we can make changes within ourselves, so that we can foster that sense of self-care, compassion, love, and so that our external efforts will be a little more successful and not bombarded down by overthinking or patterned behaviors or kind of our mental state getting in the way. And again, no judgment on that. We all kind of have moments of overthinking and not being in the best mental headspace. It is a human thing. So I really think the call is to look internally and to look at our foundations and how we can foster a better sense of care and compassion moving forward. And what does that look like for you? What makes you feel good? Maybe it's affirmations. Maybe it's getting your negative stuff out onto a journal and ripping it up and throwing it away just to get it out of your system. Or maybe it's coaching, counseling, joining a group, some kind of assistance that might move you along a little bit and allow you to explore that internal world a little more. So I'm going to get some clarifiers now. Could we clarify this Four of Cups in the how you see yourself position for Pile 1, please? How does Pile 1 see themselves? Thank you. Wow. Okay, so we have the Empress here, and the Empress is all about abundance. So I really feel, and because it came out a little bit sideways, I think you want to feel abundant. You want to step into your power. You want to step into this nurturing energy, but maybe you don't know how, or maybe there's a sense of self-worth here that you're not sure that you are worthy of that, or that you are able to achieve that. And I think the Empress is really that energy of, and what I'm getting is, try and see what happens by doing that. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels a little different, to step into that energy of really nourishing and to really have patience in this process, to really be kind and graceful and gentle with yourself so that you can really, and again, we've got a child here, or at least a younger person, and both of the younger people are in the upright position. Whereas all of the more adult figures, with the exception of the Empress, is in reverse. So it's like you're not stepping into that power of mothering or caring for yourself. You're still maybe possibly trapped in a childlike energy, and so that childhood self may need a bit of nourishing, may need a bit of care, may need a little bit of mothering. So that could be part of the way through here, is to put yourself in the shoes of a caring mother. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your mother specifically. Maybe it's an aunt, or maybe it's a grandmother, or maybe it's somebody else's mother that you look to, that you really get that sense of care and nurturing and welcoming energy from, so that you can maybe heal this inner child of yours that is hurt, that is fearful, that is needing a little bit of guidance in order to step into their higher self. So let's look at this Nine of Wands. Clarify this Nine of Wands. Thank you. Oh, we have a Four of Wands here. A lot of Wands energy, a lot of purpose, a lot of passion, a lot of determination and ambition here. And again, I get celebration here. This is firm foundation. And so what you need to celebrate is the things that you already have in place, the things that make you feel full and harmonious, and the things that you've built out of pure joy. It could be family, it could be business, it could be that hobby or that side hustle, whatever you feel very rooted in, and you've built up from a place of a vision and a determination, is something to really celebrate here. And I love that this Four of Wands came out as the clarifier in this, because in this position of what to celebrate, because, or what to acknowledge, is because this is celebratory energy. And so that to me just confirms what we mentioned earlier with the Nine of Wands, is that you've worked really hard to get where you are. And just because you might feel like it wasn't enough doesn't mean that it isn't enough. because it is. You've built a great foundation for yourself. You've maybe have lots of great connections with the people in your life, maybe even family. So celebrate that. Celebrate that hard work that you've put in to achieve that. So let's clarify the blockage here. 9 of Swords. Strongest energy for pile 1, please. Just one card. 9 of Swords, please. Spirit, 9 of Swords. Some that want to flip out, but then we got one. Yes, okay. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, pardon me, the Page of Pentacles. And it was in the reverse position. So this is this very stagnant energy, very stuck energy, because it is in the reverse position. The Pentacles, when we get into the court cards, are very slow moving energy. And it's a very focused energy too. So not only are they very focused on a singular goal or a singular thing at one time, but they are very strategic and they are very rooted in the plan and the strategy, and very kind of logical and grounded in that movement. And that can really make it a slow go, because they are moving a little bit and then stopping to assess the situation, to take in new information, to determine the next steps, and to really be very intentional and thoughtful about what it is or where it is they want to go next. This also has to do with values and beliefs as well. So this could indicate that these values and beliefs that you that is kind of putting you in this state of mind are keeping you stuck and are no longer allowing you to grow and move forward. So there's a stagnancy here, and there's even a lack of focus. So there is a very scattered energy, I feel, as well, which just confirms the message of this being a blockage for you to loving yourself and possibly getting all of that happiness that you truly deserve. Is the thought patterns and the overthinking, and it is really keeping you stuck here. And I think it comes down to what you believe about yourself and even what you value in yourself. And that could be a very tricky topic in itself. So be very, very gentle with yourself here. If and when you do decide to explore it, take your time. Don't feel like you have to solve everything in one day or work through everything in one day, and don't feel you have to be perfect. It is a process, but if you are curious about that journey, take it one step at a time. Be graceful, be patient, be nurturing. And I think that is kind of your entire message here about self-love. Is I feel like you are learning to love yourself more, and this is kind of the process and exploration to do so. So 3 of Wands, Spirit, let's clarify the 3 of Wands for pile 1, please, about self-love and how they can, too many, oh my goodness. Okay, too many. Okay, just one card, Spirit, thanks. 3 of Wands in reverse. How can pile 1 love themselves a little more? Thank you. Okay, just wanted to make sure there wasn't more than one. 7 of Wands came out sideways, so it's not in the upright, it's not in the reverse. And again, it's that energy of do I, don't I, do I, don't I. And I think that if you do, that this is kind of the energy of the upright, is that if you do go forth, there is a sense of you really stepping into your power here, not from a place of defensiveness, like we kind of saw at the beginning, and a sense of protection, but a sense of pride, a sense of this is what I'm going for, and I'm so excited, and I'm so proud, and you really being able to root yourself in that as a purpose and as a mission moving forward, is that this is who I am now, and this is what I do in the face of adversity, in the face of struggle, and I feel like it's really going to work for you. If this goes unexplored, let's just say, where maybe the internal is not explored, then I do think that there is a sense of kind of losing this fight where you might stay stuck in this energy, where it kind of might just cycle around and around and around until such time you decide to break that cycle and come through and really kind of discover yourself through this process. To me, this feels like discovery and a real sense of standing up for who that person is and not feeling any less than. There's a strength here. There's a real pride here. There is a new sense of drive. And not worrying about what anyone thinks either. So I almost feel like the pattern of this possibly people pleaser is coming, the cycle of that is being broken here. That could be a message for somebody as well. And you're almost putting up these invisible boundaries. So we're going to pull an oracle card to end your reading. And see what the final messages are. And don't worry where you are right now and where you're headed, and don't feel guilty, shameful, or judgmental. Self-love is not easy. It's something that I'm working through, and it's a process. So don't feel like you're doing something wrong if you don't feel good about yourself. I think a lot of us secretly feel that way. And just don't let anybody tell you what you should do, how fast you should do it, when to do it, where to do it more, do it less, even me. Okay, you need to do what feels right for you, because that essentially is what this is all about. So pile 1, let's get a final oracle message. I feel like that one was trying to flip out. Ah, look at that, my beautiful friends. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes these cards are just a little too on point. It's scary. And so compassion, that's exactly what we're talking about here, is offering yourself some compassion for the process, for your past and how you got here, for whatever kind of got you into this space, and yourself. Compassion for what you are kind of managing mentally and emotionally here. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling for you, pile 1. So pile 1, this was your reading. I hope something here resonated with you today. You're welcome to comment below and let me know, but absolutely no pressure. Or you can simply like this video to say thank you. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So we are going to look at your current energy to start. Well, first off, we're talking about self-love here. So we're gonna, take a look at your energy, how you see yourself, what to acknowledge, what is blocking you from offering yourself this loving care, and how you can maybe foster more self-love in the future. And then I'll grab an oracle card at the end to give you a final message. So, Spirit, could we get a card now for pile 1? What is their energy? Pile 2, pardon me. 6 of Wands. So, I get an energy of really reaping the benefits of your hard work here. Lots to celebrate. Maybe others are celebrating you. You might be in the spotlight for some reason or another. You could be, you might have a lot of colleagues around you, a lot of friends, a lot of people that really celebrate who you are. Very celebratory energy here. Very victorious. You might have some success under your belt. So I get a real sense of confidence. I feel like you already are not afraid of really lifting yourself up. So why are you here, pile 2? Why are you here? All right, let's see how you see yourself. This could be the energy that you are trying to embody or want to embody. We have the 4 of Wands here, which is another energy of celebration. So, okay, so I feel like you are somebody who really is very determined, very ambitious. You get what you want, and you are rewarded for your efforts. Not only that, but I feel like you've got a lot of people around you who see you as a good influence, who see you as possibly someone to follow. So there's kind of a leadership feeling that I'm getting from this as well. You've also really built yourself a nice little foundation that you can really sink your teeth into and ground yourself. You could have, there's just a very happy energy here, a very proud energy. Okay, so pile 2. Again, why are you here? And I think you see yourself as somebody who can really achieve and accomplish and build the thing that you want to build, maybe a great manifester. I think you're really proud of the things that you accomplish in life, and you're proud of what you've attained in life as well. There's a lot of pride here. What does pile 2 need to acknowledge, Spirit? Okay, Page of Pentacles. Okay. There's something that you are stuck with. There's something that what I'm picking up is that, yes, while you are confident, you are ambitious, you are bold, you are brave, you have achieved a lot of success and have seen the rewards of that success, it might not be what you actually want. I feel like there's a hidden desire to do something else, and that you are nervous about pursuing because you don't know if it's going to give you this same foundation, this same recognition, the same, people, environment, success. There's a curiosity here that is not coming through, and there's some kind of, I want to, not untapped potential, but there's an untapped desire here. There's an untapped, focus that I feel you really would rather pursue, but this almost is like, not that you don't want to walk away from it, but you want to believe that this is it. But there's something lingering, because I almost feel that this is making you feel a little stuck or a little pressured, or maybe not in alignment with your values. So there's a little nugget. I feel like there's a little nugget there. And you might not even be aware of that, which is why it's coming out in the acknowledge position as well as it's in reverse. Is that I don't know that it is even accessible to you at this point. This kind of new path of something that you're not quite sure. And what's interesting about this card is that there's a whole bunch of sandwiches on the ground. And it's like this rabbit has replaced all of the sandwiches, which are good, but he's replacing it with a singular coin. And he's okay with that. He's excited about, is he excited? I don't know. He looks pretty enthused. But, he threw the sandwiches on the ground to make space for this thing. This new thing. And it feels like something he really values. He, she. And that's almost the feeling that I get here, is there's a lot of abundance in your life. There's a lot of success, and so these sandwiches feel like abundance and success to me, and this rabbit does. The rabbit in itself is success and abundance. But there's a replacement of the sandwiches for something else, something greater, something rooted in your value system here, in the thing that you really want to pursue. It's almost like this kind of just fell in your lap, so you followed it, or it came easy, and not easy, but it was just kind of, well, I'll follow this and see where it goes. And it got you to a wonderful place. And I was curious why, you know, if these cards are very beautiful, happy, harmonious, celebratory cards. So I was kind of curious why the cards were coming out like that, until I started to see a hint of something else, something different, something new, that I feel is a little more aligned with who you are and what you value, because this might not be. Whatever this foundation that you built is, I don't know. It's almost an house of cards, because there's a house of cards in the background that, I mean, assumingly this person, you know, Alice, built. So have you built a house of cards? And so it's kind of an illusion. We'll get clarifiers and see. I'm speculating now about what it could be, but let's look at the blockage. We're talking about self-love here. And so we're not necessarily talking about the things in your life that you're pursuing. And so the reason why I think this is coming out so strong in this self-love arena, or this self-love reading, is that you might have put your whole worth into this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm kind of, and again, you might not be aware of it, I'm kind of being led over here. And this is actually my value. And maybe on the outside you're feeling good about it, but on the inside it might be a different story. So the self-love that, or the love that you have for yourself, is tied to something possibly in your external world and based on other people's thoughts and opinions of you. Okay, so let's see. What is blocking you from loving yourself? What is the blockage? Thank you. Ooh, interesting. So you got the Five of Pentacles, and it's in the upright position. So there's a fear here. There's a scarcity mindset. There's a fear of you following something and being isolated or left out, or it's very different than this energy. You also got the Queen of Cups with that, and I won't keep that because it was hidden. So again, the Queen of Cups is this energy of loving yourself, of nurturing yourself, of coming into this balance of knowing what's yours, knowing what's other people's when it comes to stresses, when it comes to emotions, when it comes to feelings, and really not being afraid of looking into that, looking at that, and really bringing that back into balance. So I don't know if I'll keep that here because we're going to get clarifiers. Maybe I'll just keep it here. Because these cards are small, I think we can get everything in. But that Queen of Cups was kind of hidden. So it's almost like it is hidden from you. I think you don't know how nurturing you really are. How much of a caring, sensitive soul you really are. That could be the hidden thing, is this Queen of Cups. And you are basing your whole image, your whole worthiness, you're getting others to nurture yourself. And you are, rooting yourself in what other people think of you. And there is a fear. The blockage is the fear of leaving that behind, of not having that, of being kicked out, or of being rejected in some way. And again, we've got the Pentacles, which harkens back to the Page of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is that energy, that grounding energy, or generally Pentacles are that grounding energy of beliefs and values and the things that really root you down into who you are. So it's almost like you're afraid that if you show yourself that you are going to be rejected in some way. But really, it might require you, if this is something you're curious about following, I think stepping into your values will even enhance your ability to nurture and care for yourself as well as others. This is interesting. Okay, so final card. What is the action that pile 2 can take to foster more self-love? Foster more self-love. How can that one just flew out. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups. So I think it's really assessing who you spend your time with. I feel like there's some doors that open you up to some wonderful things. There's a crown here and a castle here and a flamingo here and some cake here. But then you get an alien of some kind and a ghost. And I don't know who that person is, but there's different doors, different options that you have, and different choices. It's about your choices. And I think by giving yourself, or really looking at the choices that you have and the choices that you make, it will really allow you to see if those choices are really rewarding for you and emotionally fulfilling, and not only allow you to be loved by others, but to also love yourself in the process as well, and not have that threat of being rejected or isolated when you take time for yourself, for example, when you do things that fill your own cup, and not necessarily to appease others, not necessarily for in service to something else. When you focus on self, focus on filling your cup up and dropping kind of whatever else is not yours, then you should be supported in that effort. And so I feel like there are some people or some choices that you are making or should make or have made that aren't offering you the opportunity to really love yourself in the way that you could. Again, there could be some kind of threat of you're selfish if you try to, take time out for yourself, or, not necessarily in that specific way, although it could be, but this feels like a very, if you don't do things the way I think you should do them, then you're kind of out on your butt and you're on your own. So naturally that threat is going to feel like a fearful thing, because we don't want to leave this foundation. It feels good to us. It feels good to be in company with people who love us and seemingly support us. But when it actually comes to loving yourself, supporting yourself emotionally, taking care of yourself, then who are those people that support that and who doesn't? So let's get clarifier now on the Four of Wands. Clarify the Four of Wands, please, Spirit, for pile 2. Ah, look at this. King of Cups. I was waiting for him to come out. But it's so interesting that he came out in the how you see yourself. So it's almost like you see yourself as a very mature, emotionally mature person that can kind of handle anything, no problem. And that isn't rocked by the things that are happening around them or the chaos that's happening around them. You can take care of the people around you. So I feel like you see yourself as a very grounded, balanced, mature person. Maybe you already see yourself as a caring person. You both cups energy here, but this queen is also in the blockage. So it's almost like because you care for others, you feel like you're caring for yourself, but in actuality, you aren't really doing much to care for yourself, because out of fear that if you do care for yourself, you will be out on your butt, or that these people won't love you as much anymore, or that you see that as some kind of failure to some degree because you aren't giving yourself away to others. So I think you see yourself in a very high regard, and you see yourself as a very successful, grounded person. That's wonderful. But I think it's in service to others, not to yourself. So now I understand a little bit more clear what to acknowledge. Clarify the Page of Pentacles in the reverse position. We have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups in reverse can speak to self-love and our choices in relation to that self-love. The relationship, the Two of Cups is about relationship and that heartfelt connection with somebody, that harmonious aspect. And I feel, because this isn't a self-love reading, I almost think that this could be self-love. I don't know that this has to do with a relationship. Could be relationship to self here. And so I feel like by not following the things that you truly value or that you truly can commit to in your life when it comes to self, then I think you're doing a disservice to yourself. There's almost a tension within yourself. You love yourself less a little bit because you aren't following those things that you value or that you feel in the depths of your soul is good for you, or that you truly want to be pursuing or doing or feeling. And again, this could be something that you aren't aware of yet, because it is the Page of Pentacles is in that reverse position. But it could also just be you feeling stuck in this energy. Are you feeling stuck and not being able to move ahead? So let's clarify. The Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups is clarified by, just going to put these two together, and this one here. Queen of Cups and the Five of Pentacles is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles, and we've got some even more stuck energy. Because the blockage is that, yeah, we have to get beyond this in order to move forward. And you have to get beyond, it's almost like, okay, this is really strange. Now that I've put these two side by side, it kind of looks, the way the cards are facing, it's like this is the kind of the energy that is pulling you away from you truly loving yourself and getting into that energy of self-love and being okay with that, of going with the flow of life and feeling good and feeling in your divine power. And because of that, you're completely stuck. So you might have an inkling of kind of where your values might lie, and this isn't aligned, so I'm going to maybe nudge myself over this way a little bit, but there's a little bit of fear, so maybe I'm moving a little slower than I should. But this is like completely stuck energy now. Because even though we're trying to possibly break away from this energy that is in service to others, and not that that's a bad thing, but we have to also make sure that we're in service to ourselves as well. So there's a balance, right? It's not one or the other. It's a both and. And if we're 100% or even 90% or 60% in this energy of outwardly care, of outwardly love, and we're not giving ourselves that same attention, the well is going to run dry. And we are going to not feel joyful about what we're doing. We're going to maybe even feel resentful about this because we're not giving that love to ourselves. And so I almost feel that, you maybe want to get into a little more self-love, but this energy is pulling you back, pulling you back, pulling you back. And again, maybe even giving you that threat of, this is selfish of you. This is not what, we expected of you. This is disappointing. This is whatever, to make you feel guilty for caring for yourself. And in turn, it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you stagnant. It's not allowing you to move forward. So let's look at the action now on how you can love yourself more with the Seven of Cups in reverse. Love yourself more. How can pile 2 love themselves more? Seven of Cups. 2 cards keep wanting to come out. We'll keep going and see what happens here. We have the Five of Swords sideways. And Five of Swords sideways is that conflict that maybe you're trying to avoid. But I think the action that you can take is to not avoid that conflict, because I feel it's for a good purpose. And it's also about cutting out the things that are preventing you from caring for yourself, from nurturing yourself, from really celebrating yourself in the way that doesn't serve others. So yes, you can celebrate those things that you've built in your career, in your business, in your life. And others can celebrate you for that. And you can celebrate others for helping you to do that. And that's beautiful. But when we're not allowing ourselves to really step into an energy of having choice and being able to cut out the stuff in our life that drains us, that doesn't make us feel good about ourselves, then we start getting into that people pleaser mode, and then our energies are spread too thin, and then we feel guilty for taking the time for ourselves, to care for ourselves, to have a day off, to go to bed on time, whatever the case may be, whatever self-love looks like to you. So I think it's about cutting those energies out and not being afraid of the conflict and the confrontation that might arise out of that. It's a scary thing if you've never done it before. But that in itself is self-love. It's you standing up for yourself to say, okay, look, there's a diplomatic way of doing it. You don't have to be hurtful. You don't have to be cruel. You can just say, this is what I need. And if that other person is unwilling to support or is judgmental of you in any way, offers you guilt for you requiring or needing something at this moment in time, then maybe that's your red flag. Maybe that's your indication that maybe this is the person or people or situation that I need to duck out of, and maybe that instinct was right. That will be up to you to decide, but I think the advice here is to choose wisely, to analyze your choices, who you're spending your time with, and how you're spending your emotional energy, what's filling you up, what's draining you, and then to cut out anything that is draining you, that doesn't make you feel great, and be okay of any conflict that might arise. And that includes internal conflict. Saying no can be a very uncomfortable thing. It can be really icky. But the more you say it, I promise, the more it's going to empower you. And it's even going to make you want to say no more, because it is so empowering. It's like taking your time, energy, and power back. When you say no to the things that don't feel good, that aren't aligned, it really is a beautiful thing. And that is also a form of self-care. Standing up for yourself and really being your own hero in your story here. So, final message for pile 2, please. Ooh, that's a great message for you. Pile 2, we talked about this. With this balance of other people and you coming into balance. Of caring for others and caring for yourself, and knowing when each one is needed. Knowing when to set those boundaries. And yeah, finding harmony in it all. Trying to find a really nice balance of bringing yourself some self-care without losing the things that are truly important to you. And I want to say that if you are truly coming into alignment with offering yourself care and love and compassion and kindness, that the people who stick around to support you in that are the people that you want in your corner. And the people that aren't, maybe ones you want to limit your time with. So pile 2, this was your reading. I hope something here resonated. You're welcome to comment below to let me know, but obviously no pressure, or like this video to say thank you. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Silver Witchcraft Tarot and the Blue Calcite Stone. And I have to admit, I did a full reading for you before this. And I felt really strange about it. And the reason was because I could not get through your reading. It took me over 40 minutes, which usually is not the case. I had multiple cards coming out in chunks at one time, which usually never happens. And if it does, it usually only happens once. So I felt that the timing wasn't right. The energy wasn't right. There were scattered energies. There were multiple kind of storylines that I couldn't really piece together. So I think multiple energies were coming in at once and trying to get the spotlight to share a message. But they, so it was a really challenging reading, and that could be part of your energy too, is feeling very scattered, feeling very confused, feeling like you have multiple things or feelings or thoughts going on in your life, and everything is taking priority. But there are multiple energies that are conflicting. But I will share a little note from the reading that I did. It was about your truth and leaning into your truth, your authenticity, trusting yourself a little more. So we'll see if the energies come out very similarly in this reading, although I have cleaned the slate, I have grounded myself, I have asked Spirit to join us to help us in this reading today, because there could be some energies here or some people in the collective today that really need a little bit of extra assistance in the realm of self-love, which is what we're talking about today, our connection to self and how we can better love ourselves and lean into the things that we need and want a little more. So let's get a card to start to discuss to look at your energy. Let's get pile 3's energy, Spirit. Thank you. 8 of Pentacles. So we have some hardworking people in here that isn't afraid to commit to the things that they want to achieve. So I think by being here, you are committed to exploring the realm of self-love and wanting to improve that, to kind of do what needs to be done in order to discover that and find your routine, find kind of a flow within that, get a little better at doing that, because the 8 of Pentacles is about that practice and that mastery, about putting the work in. And even though it's not where it needs to be, you're willing to try again. So that's kind of the energy that you are at the moment. There could be a sense of boredom as well. I don't know. It is in the upright, so the boredom thing isn't as strong. Usually when it's in the reverse, it's boredom and routine to a fault. But this is simply working really hard at something to master something. So self-love could be that thing for you. Let's see. So we're going to look at how you see yourself now. How does pile 3 see themselves? How does pile 3 see themselves? Spirit, just one card. How does pile 3 see themselves? Thank you. The Empress. So you see yourself as somebody who is connected to their intuition, who is a very nurturing soul, and maybe offers their love and care to the things in their world. So you might already have a little bit of a grasp on self-love, because the Empress is a nurturing energy. It is an energy of patience. It is an energy of going the distance, taking your time, enjoying the process, being tapped into that intuition to know where to go next and what to do next, what to prioritize. There's also rabbits here which speak to abundance and fertility. So you actually could be somebody who is pregnant at the moment. So yeah, I think you see yourself as a very in-tune spiritual person, and you may nurture yourself already to a certain degree. But let's see. What do you need to acknowledge? What does pile 3 need to acknowledge? Thank you. You have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So this is a card of action. And this is about acting upon ideas, acting upon creative pursuits. And so I think, and it's in the reverse position, so it's almost like you don't see yourself as somebody who can really craft or create something, a passion project. You can't put your time, your energy, your efforts, your ideas, you can't bring those to life. And I think you need to acknowledge that that is a part of you. This is a really interesting reading so far. Quite a bit different from the original reading, but what's interesting to me is that this is almost the reverse of the other 2 readings that I did, where it was all about nurturing self-love, and this is almost like you're almost good at doing that. So you need to acknowledge that you're not just that. You're not just a caretaker. You're not just a spiritual person. You're not just somebody who cares for others. That you can offer yourself self-love by doing things as well, by following your pursuits of passion, if that makes any sense. And maybe that's why in your initial reading that I did, the energies were so scattered, because this feels like a very different reading. This feels like you are in pursuit and practice of that self-love, but you're almost forgetting about your external passions that do fill you up, that do offer you a sense of pride and confidence and achievement. And that is a form of self-love. It not necessarily has to do with, nurturing the body, where we're eating well and sleeping well and exercising. Those are all great, and those were kind of in pile 1 and 2. But I think you need to acknowledge this underlying desire to create something outside of yourself. And it should be kind of based on those things that bring you joy. This is really interesting. So what does pile 3, what's blocking pile 3 from this type of self-love? So the thing that I'm getting, in the 50s, women were mostly stay-at-home mothers. They didn't work, and the fathers went out and provided. So very traditional, dynamic, masculine, feminine roles within the kind of the traditional partnerships, male, female, provider, nurturer. And so that comes to mind with this, not because that's the situation that you're in, but there is a sense, or maybe a belief, that you have to be a certain type of person or act in a certain way. And I think you have desires beyond that role. And so I'm thinking of that, 50s mother or wife that has this idea and desire to build a business, to turn a hobby into a business or something, where she has desires outside of the role that she's been doing for so long. So take that as it resonates, not to say that you are a 50s wife or a 50s mother, but I feel that the essence of that message is you've been in a certain role for a very long time, and I think you've done really well nurturing yourself in that role, nurturing others in that role. But I feel like the next part of your journey for this self-love is to express. There's expressiveness that's coming through. There's this desire and passion that you are being called to follow outside of this situation or this role or this kind of where you've been for some time. So I feel like that is a part of that self-love journey, is to be able to step into that, to be able to express that, to be able to follow that, and have that be a part of who you are and your story, and not have your story wrapped up in kind of your internal world. And that's not, a selfish thing at all. That's not what I mean. Your internal world meaning the world that is within you and immediately around you. So it's almost like you're stepping out of that immediate circle to explore something new. Okay, look at that. We have the Fool in reverse, which is getting out of those comfort zones, taking a risk. And that is in the blockage position. It's also in the reverse. So it's almost like the opportunity is there, but it's completely eclipsed by whatever is going on in your world. So that could be out of circumstances out of your control. That could just be where things are at right now, and there's no changing that at the moment. But there's a very still and stuck energy, not only because it's in the blockage position, but because it is in the reverse position. There is maybe a fear of following that, but there is a sense of a new chapter here, stepping out of that comfort zone and taking a risk. And it doesn't have to be huge risks. It can be calculated. It can be slow moving. It can be toe in the water kind of risk. And anything is possible, but I think to unblock that, you have to acknowledge that it is possible for you to explore something outside of your immediate world at the moment. And I think it might be a desire here, because I feel like you do have that drive, that ambition in you, but it's hidden right now. It's eclipsed. And it's being open to it can be scary, new beginnings, but there's spontaneity and adventure and freedom and a bit of a playfulness that comes with this, as we know we're going to come across things that are going to challenge us, and we're going to fail and make mistakes, but it's being kind of open-hearted about that and allowing us to learn along the way without judgment, because this is something new. We are breaking out of our shell, out of our zone of comfort, and doing new things. So I think the blockage is that we need to kind of realize that, or acknowledge that that's within us, and that is a desire of ours, and that is going to help with our confidence. That is going to help us with following our intuition or those intuitive nudges, and in turn will help us grow and develop personally and spiritually. But there is, we have to be careful to not take too many risks right away, or to be foolish about it, because that will do us a disservice along the path. And to not be careless about it in the process as well. So there are considerations I'm sure that you would need to make before you step into something brand new. So let's look at action on how you can foster more self-love. Ooh, interesting. Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. I think there's a very grounded energy. There's a very grounded energy here there's a very abundant energy, very similar to the Empress. We have the rabbit again. So there is this abundance, and I think the action that you can take is to step into this power and to claim it, to really understand that you can take those intuitions, those desires, those ambitions, and bring them into reality. So there's almost like a faith and a pride of doing that, a confidence of even providing. So if it takes you down a path that allows you to make money, you have a firmer foundation, financial foundation. You might even be able to move to a nicer home or a nicer neighborhood, etc. So there's a real sense of being grounded and rooted and following that, not only following that intuition, but again, there's this nurturing energy of not just nurturing the internal world, which I think you're really good at, but now it's time to put that outwardly and nurture your external world. How can you apply what you've learned and what you've learned about yourself and your spirituality? How can you apply that to life and bring that into the external, manifest that in the external world, to find a better foundation within your external life? I hope this is making sense, because pile 3, both readings that I've done for you, one on camera, one that is sitting on my computer right now that probably won't be seen, they've been very challenging, very different. So this is just very different energy than pile 1 and 2. And there's also a feeling of specialness I get about this. Something different, something special. I think you do have something special. And I think the world needs to see it. The world needs to have your energy in it. You deserve to be seen. Your ideas deserve to be seen. And so it's about that journey. And kind of loving yourself enough and caring for yourself to a point where you also cherish those ideas. You treat those ideas and those dreams just like you treat yourself, with a lot of love, care, nurturing. Let's get some clarifiers, because this might completely change the story here. Let's clarify the Empress, please, for pile 3. How do you see yourself? How does pile 3 see themselves? We've got the Page of Swords, and it was in more of a reverse position than not. So I think you might not, I think there is a blockage to learning something new here, and I'm not really sure why, but you might not see yourself as somebody who is capable. And that kind of came through in the Knight of Wands too. And I think you are. I think you're more capable than you think. So it's almost like you see yourself as a spiritual person, as somebody who can really nurture spiritual practices within their life. But when it comes to learning and going to school, for example, maybe you weren't the best student, or you have difficulty learning something, or the way you learn is different than somebody else's way of learning. So you've almost blocked this idea that you can step into new things and learn new things and be really good at it. So I think what I'm trying to get at is there's a story here that you've told yourself, and that's just not for me. That's what I'm feeling. It's not for me because I'm not this and I'm not that. Therefore, it's not for me. So yeah, that's... But you've got the determination. You've got the commitment to practice. You've got the commitment to doing things, to master things. And you've mastered something here, but you're afraid to master kind of another realm that feels like it's out of your scope, that it's not for you. So maybe you don't see yourself, you see yourself as a spiritually rich person, a spiritually or, knowledgeable person, but you don't see yourself as somebody who is studious or good at learning or smart, intelligent. But I think you are. I mean, the Page of Swords, it's out here. And if that wasn't true, then something else would have shown up in its place. So I do think it's there. It's just, I think you've told yourself a story, and this could be from a past experience or what somebody told you or what teachers told you in the past. But it's okay to be different, to learn differently, to do things in your own way. It doesn't have to be by the book. And that's what I'm getting there, is that traditionally how you've done things by the book, it may not have worked out the way you thought or like everybody else. But because this reading is so different, and because the reading before it was so different, I think you are beautiful and special and different, and you should embrace that. And I'm getting choked up. It's okay to do things your own way. It's okay to be authentically you. The worst thing that we can do is to tell ourselves we're different, and we can't, because we're not like everybody else. And that's the feeling that I'm getting there. I can't, because I don't learn like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. You are special, and you should really shine a light on that uniqueness. Okay, let's carry on here. We have this is what to acknowledge, the Three of Swords, and it was in reverse. And it's funny because I got all choked up there, and I even have to wipe away a tear here. There is some healing that needs to be dealt with. There is some hurt, there is some pain that is not being acknowledged. And I think it is coming out as you blocking yourself. And to me, when we're blocking our energies, our efforts, our desires, our intuition, that is not, even though we might be caring for ourselves in a physical way, and maybe even a spiritual way, what about emotionally? What about mentally? What about creatively? So I think that's what it is. There's some kind of hurt, some kind of pain that has led you to believe something about yourself, that you can't achieve something that you truly desire, a dream, something that you've wanted for a long time, something, a little nudge that you want to follow, a hobby, a career, a job. So I think you need to acknowledge that the story that you've told yourself is not true, and that it is based on some kind of hurt or pain. You have now turned that hurt or pain into blocking yourself from doing that thing that you might desire, because it's now turned into a story that you've told yourself over the years. And so while, yes, you might be nurturing yourself and loving yourself, there is a broader scope that you have to explore when it comes to self-love. Acknowledging your creativity, acknowledging those desires, those passions that you want to follow, that you might be shutting out or shutting down because of this. So there's healing that needs to happen in that space, to soften, to release, to acknowledge, process, and let go of for good, so that you can truly step into this self-expression, this authentic you that I feel really wants to come forth. So what is let's clarify the blockage of the Fool. Oh, that's interesting. Why is that one up? I'm not going to, that might have been from the other one, so 3 of Cups. I will just say, friends, people that you trust, maybe lean on them for this, because the 3 of Cups was up there, and I don't know if it flipped out here or here. But lean on those groups that make you feel safe. Groups of people or singular people within your network that make you feel safe, that you can maybe have a discussion about what you might be experiencing or going through, or bounce ideas off of, or whatever. Okay, so let's clarify the Fool in reverse. And this is in the position of what? Of blockages. Okay, you got 2. I will take 2 because the other pile did get 2 in a different position though. All right, so Star card, you have your wish fulfillment right here, and it's being blocked by the Fool being in reverse, and the 7 of Wands in reverse. 7 of Wands is to me, this is a self-empowerment card. But when it's in the reverse, it's like defensiveness, protectiveness. So I feel like you're willing to put in that fight, that effort, that I think that drive is there for you to pursue that, but it's almost like you're worried about of having to do that. You're worried about the effort that it's going to take to stand up for this dream, to stand up for this wish fulfillment. What is it going to take? What kind of conflict am I going to have to be up against? How much energy and effort am I going to have to put forward to protect this and to follow this? I think there's a feeling of overwhelm here. The dream might be so big that you don't really know how to start and how to go about the process. So you just don't. And that's okay. I will say that, how can you start small? Your dream might be big, but that doesn't mean you have to take huge leaps. Remember I said dip a toe in. What's that dip a toe in? Is it researching something? Is it talking to somebody, a friend, a partner, a parent? And not necessarily to get their opinions or advice, but just float it out there. I'm thinking of doing this. Having some ideas here. Again, not to take them in their opinion and advice to sway you one way or the other, just to see the reaction. Maybe they're going to be supportive of it, and then all of these fears go away. Or maybe there's a little resistance there, and you can kind of work through that, hopefully. But yeah, there's a sense of you wanting to take this and jump into this and express yourself, express your dreams, bring your dreams to life. But there is a bit of fear, a bit of resistance to doing that. And I get it. It's not easy to follow the things that our intuition is telling us to do when it kind of goes against everything either we've been taught or everything our friends are doing or things that, everything we've done for the last however many years. And now it's something completely different. These tarot readings are an example of that for me. I've been an artist, an illustrator my whole life, and now I'm getting this spiritual nudge to be like, you need to do this. But I'm like, but wait, I didn't go to school for it. I didn't plan on doing this. What are my friends going to think? Oh, she's a tarot reader now. What is that? There's this story that comes up when you explore the things that scare you a little. And that can get you to stop. But I want to encourage you to slowly dip your toe in. And this YouTube channel was it for me. This is my dipping the toe in. I didn't tell my friends I was doing it. I just started it. And I dipped my toe in. And then I slowly started to talk about it with friends. I didn't say, hey everybody, I'm a tarot reader now, and I'm professional, and this is what I do for a living. No. I started a YouTube in secret. So what is that thing that maybe you can do in secret that you can dip your toe in? Explore. Think of it as just an exploratory thing. And see what comes. Follow that path. It's like breadcrumbs. It doesn't have to be jumping the chasm from, one mountain cliff to another. It's about taking that slow winding path down the foothills from one mountain to the other, following those breadcrumbs. Okay, I'm getting carried away now. I hope this is helpful. Pile 3. Action. What can Pile 3 take as action with the Queen of Pentacles? Thank you. We've got the 9 of Cups. And it was in reverse. So not only the action is to find some sort of grounding in this process, figure out that thing that you really want to bring to life and nurture it. But I think you also need to explore what fulfills you and what doesn't fulfill you, what drains you, what fills you up or makes you feel whole. And this is also, the 9 of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. It's that moment where all of the things you've put your emotional self into really pays off and pays back. You feel successful. You feel fulfilled and satisfied. And so explore that a little bit, because I think it's undiscovered right now. It's unexplored, which is why it's in the reverse position. And maybe that is a worry, is that what if I do all this work and change direction or paths or do something and it doesn't work out? It doesn't fulfill me. And you know what? Yeah, that could be the case, where you've built something and you've been successful with it, which I see with the Queen of Pentacles, and it might bring you financial abundance, but it doesn't actually fulfill you. It doesn't actually align with your values or goals, maybe. So that definitely needs to be assessed, because that could be the thing that's not being assessed. And you know what? You might not know until you get into it. We can't possibly know everything before we do something and explore. So I think the action is to maybe look at that in what you know now. And that might change in the future, but that's okay. You can make adjustments as you see fit. And I think a lot of people do that. They go to school to become, and as an example, a lawyer. And they spend years trying to become a lawyer in school. And then they spend even more years being a lawyer. But then they get into their career and they realize, like, whoa, have I just wasted my entire life doing something that doesn't actually fulfill me? So then they decide, okay, I think I'm going to change directions here. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that's kind of what I'm getting at there, is that it's okay to get into something and realize that it might not be fulfilling. Just bring awareness to that. That's all that matters. It doesn't mean you've failed. It just means you've grown. And that's beautiful. And you've gained a lot of experience along the way. So it is not all for naught. And don't be afraid of that, if that is what you are afraid of. But I think what you can do now is just take whatever information you have based on those feelings, based on the experiences that you've had, and there's clues in that. How can you apply that in the future? How can you apply that in your external world and your process? Oh boy, pile 3. This was, I hope this, for me, it was a very, very deep reading. And it does tie in with your previous reading about aligning to your truth and your authenticity here. And I think that it's not like you're not. I think that you probably are. But there is something here in your soul that wants to come through. And so I think it's about that. And that in itself is an act of love for yourself. An acknowledgement of a part of you that wants to be expressed in the external world. Because I think your internal world is pretty solid. Your physical world is pretty solid. All right, so let's get an oracle card now to end your reading. Final oracle card for pile 3. And you got 2. So I'll take 2. Ooh. Oh, you guys. I'm freaking out right now. Oh my God, this is wild. So, soul, we talked about the things in your soul that wants to be expressed in the external world. I mean, it's coming through here in a card. What are those dreams, that imagination that wants to come forth from the Knight of Wands here? What are the things you journal about, you dream about, you wish about? Ooh, I'm getting chills. And then we have trust. Didn't we just talk about that? That was part of your previous reading. Trust in your inner light. Trust in those intuitive nudges. Trust yourself. Trust that you're being led to a good place. Yeah, and trust is also about trusting your authentic self as well. Trusting those feelings that give you that sense of, I feel like doing this and I really feel fulfilled by that. What are those things? And trusting that, even though it might not align with what everybody else is doing. And I love soul trust. Trust your soul. Pile 3, what a cool reading. I feel the messages are a little more clear this time around, just based on the experience of reading. But I do hope that this really gave you some inspiration and clarity on how to love yourself more and in a different way than maybe other people are looking to do at this time, and that's okay. But that's why I love this reading so much, is because it was so different. And it was unexpected, and it was a surprise, and it was just gorgeous. Beautiful, pile 3. I'm really excited for you, and I hope you are too. Because you deserve to be heard, you deserve to be seen, and you deserve to trust yourself a little more. And that in itself is self-love. So this is what I have for you, pile 3. I hope something here resonated with you. You're welcome to comment below to let me know, but obviously no pressure. Or like this video to say thank you. With gratitude, I'm sending you all my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.